On Wednesday, July 8th, 2026, a new round of Social Security payments is scheduled to reach millions of Americans. But that date is not a bonus day, a special stimulus, or a surprise new benefit. It is the second Wednesday of July, and that makes it one of Social Security's regular payment days. If the birth date connected to your benefit falls from the 1st through the 10th of a month, July 8th may be your day. If the date falls later, your July payment may arrive on July 15th or July 22nd instead. And if you have been receiving benefits since before May 1997, receive both Social Security and supplemental security income, or fit another exception, your schedule can be different. That sounds like a calendar puzzle. It is actually the result of a long evolution, from one paper check for $22.54 to one of the largest recurring payment systems in the world. First, let's make July 8th simple. The Social Security Administration divides most people who started receiving benefits after April 1997 into three birthday groups. A birth date from the 1st through the 10th generally means payment on the second Wednesday. A birth date from the 11th through the 20th generally means payment on the third Wednesday. A birth date from the 21st through the 31st generally means payment on the fourth Wednesday. In July 2026, those Wednesdays are July 8th, July 15th, and July 22nd. The key date is usually the birthday of the worker on whose earnings record the benefit is paid. For a retired worker receiving benefits on their own record, that is normally their own birthday. But a spouse, survivor, or child may receive benefits based on another person's record. In that case, simply looking at the recipient's birthday can give the wrong answer. The July 8th distribution is not limited to retirement checks. Social Security pays several kinds of monthly insurance benefits. Retired workers make up the largest group, but the system also pays eligible spouses and children, survivors of deceased workers, disabled workers, and certain family members of disabled workers. People in any of those categories can be in the July 8th payment group if the applicable birthday and filing rules put them there. There are important exceptions. People who began receiving Social Security before May 1997 generally remain on the older payment schedule. People who receive both Social Security and supplemental security income generally receive SSI on the 1st of the month and Social Security on the 3rd, adjusted when those dates fall on weekends or federal holidays. Some people living outside the United States and some other special cases also remain in the 3rd of the month cycle. And SSI is not the same program as Social Security, retirement, survivors, or disability insurance. SSI is a needs-based program financed from general federal revenues. Social Security insurance benefits are based on a worker's covered earnings record and payroll tax contributions. The Social Security Administration runs both, which is why the calendars are often discussed together, but the eligibility rules and funding are different. One more detail prevents a common misunderstanding. Social Security benefits are generally paid 1 month behind. A Social Security payment delivered in July normally represents the benefit for June. That is simply how the program accounts for monthly benefits. It does not mean the payment is late. If your expected electronic payment is not visible first thing in the morning, the Social Security Administration advises checking with your bank or financial institution. Its published calendar says to allow 3 additional mailing days before contacting Social Security about a missing mailed payment. Never pay a stranger who claims they can release, speed up, or unlock your benefit. A scheduled payment does not require a fee. Now, for the larger question, why does the United States distribute Social Security this way at all? The story begins during the Great Depression. Older Americans faced widespread poverty, and the traditional safety nets of savings, family support, local charity, and continued employment had failed for many people. President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed the Social Security Act on August 14, 1935. The law created a federal old age insurance program funded through payroll contributions. Payroll taxes began in 1937, but the first payments were not monthly checks. From 1937 through 1939, the program made one-time lump sum payments to some workers who contributed but would not remain in covered employment long enough to qualify for future monthly benefits. One early recipient, retired Cleveland streetcar motorman Ernest Ackerman, had a nickel withheld from his final paycheck and received a lump sum benefit of 17 cents. It was not exactly a retirement fortune, but it was the beginning of federal Social Security payments. The original 1935 law planned to begin monthly benefits in 1942 and covered only retired workers. Congress changed course with the 1939 amendments. Those amendments moved the start of monthly payments forward to 1940 and added benefits for eligible wives, children, widows, and other survivors. Social Security was no longer only an individual retirement program. It had become family insurance against the loss of a worker's income through retirement or death. On January 31, 1940, Ida Mae Fuller of Ludlow, Vermont, received the first recurring monthly retirement check. It was check number 0000001, and the amount was $22.54. Fuller had paid a total of $24.75 in Social Security taxes during about 3 years of covered work. She lived to age 100 and collected nearly $22,900 in lifetime benefits. Her story is memorable, but it can also be misleading if treated as a typical investment return. Social Security is social insurance, not a private savings account with each worker's deposits stored in a personal vault. Contributions finance benefits across generations and protect against risks whose costs differ dramatically from one family to another, including early death, disability, and unusually long life. The system expanded repeatedly. Major amendments in 1950 raised benefits and extended coverage to millions of additional workers. Disability protection developed during the 1950s, with cash benefits for disabled workers added in 1956 and broadened in 1960. Early retirement became available to women in 1956 and to men in 1961, with permanently reduced monthly benefits. In the 1970s, the federal SSI program replaced a patchwork of state-administered assistance programs for aged, blind, and disabled people with limited income and resources. The value of benefits changed too. Ida Mae Fuller's original monthly amount remained unchanged for a decade. Before the modern cost of living adjustment, Congress had to pass legislation whenever benefits were increased. A 1950 change raised Fuller's monthly check from $22.54 to $41.30. Legislation enacted in 1972 created automatic cost of living adjustments, and those automatic increases began in 1975. For 2026, the COLA is 2.8%. The Social Security Administration estimated an average retired worker benefit of about $2,071 per month after that adjustment. As the program grew, the method of delivery changed from printed checks to electronic transfers. Direct deposit began in 1975. It reduced the risk of stolen or lost checks and gave recipients access to funds without waiting for mail or visiting a bank. Today, federal benefit payments are generally made electronically, either through direct deposit or an approved electronic payment card. But for decades, the timing was still heavily concentrated near the beginning of each month. Before payment cycling, regular monthly Social Security payments were generally made on the third of the month or on the preceding business day, if the third was not a business day. By the 1990s, that single-date system had become a logistical bottleneck. Roughly 45 million beneficiaries were being paid within the first 3 days of the month. Banks, the Treasury, the Federal Reserve, the Postal Service, Social Security field offices, and phone lines all experienced the same enormous surge. A disruption during a narrow processing window could delay payments for millions of people at once. The solution was payment cycling. Beginning in 1997, new beneficiaries were assigned to the second, third, or fourth Wednesday, according to the relevant birthday. Existing beneficiaries were largely allowed to keep the schedule they already knew. That is why two systems still coexist: the older third-of-the-month cycle and the newer Wednesday birthday cycles. Spreading payments across several dates did not reduce anyone's monthly benefit. It distributed the processing workload, reduced operational risk, and made it easier for agencies and financial institutions to handle an enormous flow of money without one giant monthly traffic jam. And enormous is the right word. In January 2026, Social Security paid about 70.6 million people roughly $136 billion in monthly benefits. About 56.7 million received retirement benefits. 5.8 million received survivor benefits, and 8.1 million received disability insurance benefits. Separate SSI rolls brought the combined number of people receiving Social Security SSI, or both, to about 75 million. So July 8th is both ordinary and remarkable. It is ordinary because it is one scheduled Wednesday in a calendar that repeats every month. It is remarkable because behind that deposit stands 90 years of law, record keeping, payroll contributions, family protection, cost of living changes, and payment technology. If your applicable birthday is between the 1st and the 10th and the standard post-1997 schedule applies to you, July 8th, 2026 is your scheduled date. If not, check the other July dates in your personal Social Security account before assuming anything is missing. The calendar may look arbitrary, but it is the modern answer to a very old challenge: how to deliver monthly protection to tens of millions of people accurately, predictably, and at a scale the founders of the program could barely have imagined.